Well, it's now less than 3 years before Nigerians are expected to turn out in their numbers again to either renew the mandate of 7 elected political leaders or hand out defeat to those who are deemed to have failed. The big prize, of course, remains the office of the president. And it all starts now with membership drive by all the registered political parties. Critically, in Nigeria, where there are tens of such parties, the number of those who are known to engage the electoral process from the scratch are only 2. The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and its major rival, the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Joining us now to look at all of this is Tunde Imolehin, chieftain of the All Progressives Congress. In addition to looking at these primary processes, including the party's current membership drive, he will also talk about the call for greater involvement of technology in the electoral process, the takeoff of the 774,000 jobs for the youth, and the controversy trailing it, as well as other contingent issues. Welcome to the program.
Tunde Imolehin, good morning.
Oh, Ruben, hi, good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you. Thank you for joining us. Well, very quickly, in December...
Thank you for inviting me.
In December, Kola Ologbondiyan, the spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party, was mocking your party, the APC, saying that your then proposed membership drive, registration and mobilization drive, was not working. But yesterday, your party eventually set up a 10-member committee to mobilize, to sensitize members of your party, old and new, to either revalidate their membership or to register anew. What is the plan? Because I hear one of your chieftains saying that at the end of the exercise, the APC will end up as the largest political party in Africa. That's quite a familiar phrase, isn't it?
Yes, first, let me just say something about that. It's a familiar phrase, but it's different connotation. It was Albert Einstein who said that in life is like a bicycle. If you want to achieve balance, you keep moving. And it is also the same Albert Einstein, the popular scientist, that actually said that if you want change, you cannot insist on doing the same thing all over again. Having said that, I think for a government of change, it is expected that the government would, from time to time, despite constitutional provisions, make it important and expedient to think out with ideas that can actually work towards sustainable development for the party. It is not a government, APC is not a government of change for nothing. And the slogan was quite apt and is still as relevant from day one. Talking about the opposition, what do you expect? I'm very happy that you talked about what happened yesterday. I was there, and it's quite very succinct to find out that a committee has been set up to kickstart what we look as the rebuilding process and the consolidation process of the ruling party. I remember that there are certain things that are very important when you are building a party or probably when you are nurturing a party. I mean, you need to be conversant about the dynamics existing in the party. And I think that's exactly what is happening right now. I think there is a government that listens, and it's also the party that listens to the dynamics of the party in terms of the expectations of the people, in terms of the expectations of the electorate. And I think that is the reason why the party has deemed it expedient. Kola is not happy that since June last year, when Adams Oshiomhole-led NYC was excused, and we have been moving from, one progress to the other. A lot of reconciliations have been made. A lot of people we have We have been able to, we've snatched, as it were, their governors, we've snatched their senators, and we've been able to get more and more members to our party at their expense. So what do you expect? They never expected it to work. What they expected was that we will collapse, we will crumble, because we had issues. We have been able to turn our threats into opportunities, and we'll be able to turn our weaknesses to strengths. No opposition that is not very, profound will expect to be happy with that development. But you see, we are glad that based on what Freeman Clark said, that, and we are trying to bring about with the Dean development, that we are not politicians who think about elections alone. We are politicians who think about the next generation. So we are politicians in the mode of statesmen. So Ruben, that's a new narrative. It's a new beginning. It's a new beginning that spells the rebuilding process in a different format. For some of us who are professionals and we came into this party for a very good reason, a very profound reason, we are coming together, working with the new APC to see how we can rebuild the process. A lot has happened in terms of electoral reforms. One of the things that the people are not happy about is vote buying. People's mindsets are fixated, and we need to change all this. We need to go down there. That's why we are planning something called National Dialogue next week. You see, a lot is happening in the party right now because the right people are really waking up. There are so many tendencies in the party. That is the truth. There are some people who would prefer a half cup full of nothing to a half cup full of water. You see, it's all over the place. You can't have the same ideological slants, and that is what we're trying to bring about. And I'm very happy with the development. I'm very happy with the way we are handling it and its success.
Well, you refer to your party as a new APC. Can you explain what has changed in your party that makes you describe it as the new APC? But more importantly, I'm interested to find out what is fueling this confidence. You are very confident that you will triple your membership base with this registration you're about to commence. And at a time of a pandemic such as this, what is the strategy to carry out this registration?
I'm here. A lot of the viewers are watching me. I mean, without even visiting them in their homes. I think one thing in this country is that we have not exploited technology profusely or exhaustively, I mean, to advance the cause of development. That is one of the things we are looking at, the use of technology. And that's what I told you earlier on, that by the time we are talking to our people, we are preparing them for post-electoral reforms, which stipulate that certain things that we're used to right now are going to be, withdrawn. So that is one. Two, I am extremely confident because most of the ideas that we are postulating, we are bringing about, we are presenting to the new, it's about new thinking, my dear sister. It's about new thinking. It's about the fact that, yes, we have listening people who are ready to listen, want to bring about change. They want to prove a point. They want to defend their mandate. Don't forget that there's another mandate for 6 months, which preludes, the National Convention Committee part of their mandate, and they want to make a point. And they want to prove the fact that, yes, Mr. President was right when he did what he did in June, and he was also right, the NEC was right when they did what they did in December. And now you can see with what happened yesterday. So talking about protocols, definitely we are going to observe all the non-pharmaceutical protocols because, of course, as a ruling party, charity begins at home. We lead from the front, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And that's the reason for the National Dialogue, which is going to hold next week. And from there, we go to all the states. We go where we're going to educate, conscientize, and orientate, and of course, sensitize our people, about what we want to do. We are going to get numbers. We're going to, get additions to what we have. We're going to get most of the people that we're going to get are women, they are children, they are women and they are youths and they are new people. We are going to educate them about the new thinking that come. Because the mindset right now is that, politicians are investors. So let's play ball, let's play the game. Let's collect money from them since they are not coming back. So we want to change that mindset that not all politicians, I'm not saying they don't exist, but the point is that we are trying to change the narrative We're trying to see how we can positively, impact positively on the electorate, most of whom are very hopeless, and they live in hopeless situations, and we are not happy about that. It's a stock-taking process. And we are at an advanced stage, and we are doing it so that we can lead from the front. So that's exactly the reason why the opposition is unhappy, is that we are turning our threats into opportunities, and we are turning our weaknesses to strengths.
We'll come back and talk some more with you.
They didn't expect it.
We'll go on a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Right, welcome back. We still have Tunde Imolehin, chieftain of the All Progressive Congress. It's been quite a medley of Albert Einstein quotes today by you. And let me continue with that medley by saying, same Albert Einstein said, and I quote, doing something over and over again the same way and expecting different results is the classical definition of insanity. What has your party done differently to improve the security, lives, and economy of an average Nigerian out there?
Okay, thank you very much for that question, but let me just go down the memory lane. In 2014, 276 Nigerians were kidnapped. In 2014, we were not in power. We know what happened. That is Chibok. 2018, the Dapchi issue came up. That is 110. We rescued almost all of them. Even the ones that were rescued, right, in 2014, 2015, were done mostly by this party. I'm not saying that we're happy that they happened, but they're part of development. The incidents happen, not only in Nigeria. But what we can draw the statistics, and then you can make up your mind. Then, of course, all those shootings, bombings that you experience in those days, of course, they are things of the past right now. In addition, you see a conscious effort. I'm not saying there are no setbacks, they were not prepared for, but the point is that activities are on, budgets are being made for more enforcement. The government is making efforts despite the fact that there are some hostilities, in terms of funding of the insurgents war. We are trying to get more weapons. We're trying to reinforce the military, and of course, we're trying to create an open system where everybody is, able to bring one thing or the other to the table in terms of creative thinking. I do not think it is enough for anybody to write off this government in terms of when you look at what we have achieved in the past. That's my situation. That's my summation of the matter. We know that we are a developing country. We do not want to make any excuse for anything. We know we have to depend on our friends and everywhere to be able to fight this war. We do not want to make pretensions that we are a first class or first-rate country. We know our challenges, but the ability of government in terms of creativity is what we're talking about here. What can we do with what we have? And what can we do in terms of international diplomacy to win friends that can assist us in winning the war? These are things that we don't need to shout about these things. We believe in results, and we believe in fundamental achievements in terms of what we have promised Nigerians. Of course, our mandate is rested on a tripod: security, economy, and of course corruption. We are fighting all these battles at a go. It is not easy, but it's achievable. So the point is that we cannot, and the fact that we don't want to create, we want change does not mean that we should do everything in a whole. We believe that Nigerians would support President Buhari based on his sincerity and based on his integrity still, that he means well. And it has to be a methodical and gradual, execution of the change agenda, which is still very, very fresh, still very, very potent. And what we want to make is that we are not politicians who are interested in the next election. We are interested in the next generation. And that is what we are preaching. If you're talking about newness, that's what you should be looking at.
Talking about the next generation and about what your party is doing. Yesterday, we discussed a particular subject, which is the takeoff of the empowerment program in 774 local governments. the plan to empower 774,000 Nigerian youths. And we had this picture of the Minister of State for Labor and Employment handing out wheelbarrows and cutlasses in Uwe local government area, which is the minister's own local government area. And we were shocked that the whole idea of empowerment of Nigerian youth is to throw money at the problem for 3 months. We've not been told what the follow-up program will be. And then what is the idea of giving young Nigerians cutlasses at a time when there is this challenge of insecurity in the country that you just talked about? Would that not be a way of weaponizing angry youths further?
No, I don't think you are being fair to Nigerian youths, Ruben. Ruben, you and I know that Rome was not built in a day. I mean, that's the adage. And the fact that we have to start from somewhere, that's a metaphor. 774 local governments, 74 times 1,000. That is metaphoric. You know, that is like a game changer. If you ask me, we are not looking at the aspiration of the contract, with Nigerians. We are looking at the impact now and then. I tell you, Ruben, in the next 3 months, go and check those communities. The non-skilled population of Nigerians are at the ebb. They are withdrawn. They have lost hope. How do you help them? You talk about weaponizing them. They would rather work and earn their money than you use the weapon for fighting. In any case, they will drop the whatever weapons they have. Now that they are being empowered, we will reduce the number of people who are into violence. We will reduce the number of people who are into nothing. They will start thinking. And of course, in those 3 months, government is planning to make sure that certain things are added. They are adds on, Ruben. This is something that should be applauded. First, they came up with controversies. There was no controversy. There was just a debate. The opposition thought that we were going to have a challenge with that. But of course, the president, just the way he managed the dissolution of the Adams Oshiomhole-led party, he also did it quietly. And of course, there was no noise. They are not settled with that. And then they began propaganda talking about controversies when the issue should be the debate on whether the legislature or the executive is right to do it. And it's the work of the executive. And you see ministers all over the place going to their communities to kickstart the program. I tell you, and bear me out, in the next 3 months, it's not only about the money, trade money into problems. These are people that are going to get experience and which will be needed, right, in servicing the community where they are. It's a community work. And I can see the private sector trying to latch onto this in the next 3 months. We should look at the positive. It is not enough for us to look at the negative all the time. Constructive criticism is very genuine. That's what we did before we came in 2015. And we still stand that whatever we are doing, we want a serious engagement of the ruling party. Not just all this pedestrian and what we have. It's not enough. I think it's high time we started thinking the way I'm prophesying. I think we will be a better country if what we are working towards is not by winning elections, but of course by building this country where we say the truth all the time, not some of the time.
And can you just, enlighten us further on this skills acquisition you talk about that will be beneficial to them beyond 3 months? We're talking about machetes and wheelbarrows here. Is this the best we could have done? Are you saying this is the best we could have done?
What do you think is the best that we could have done?
I'm asking you because you portray this as one that should be lauded. You say the private sector will latch on to this. You also say it is skills that will be beneficial to the community and the people beyond 3 months. And I just want to get a better perspective of that because whether I like it or not, this has received quite the backlash to say at a time we're talking about the fourth revolution, at a time Nigeria should be taking the big brother role and be leading in the AFCFTA that will talk about, goods and services being exchanged across the continent, the biggest block of transaction in the world. We are still seeing wheelbarrows and machetes. So I want to understand why you think that this is the best we could have done. Except you're saying otherwise.
They were not machete. What I saw were not machete. I mean, I know they I mean, for example, something the message you are sending when you talk about machete is that somebody wants to get killed. I think we should be careful about the kind of word we use. They were not armed. They were given equipment to do the work for which they have been programmed. Don't let us live in denial. I said it earlier on, we are still a developing country. While we are working on other areas, introducing technology, introducing advanced technology, if you look at agriculture, we still weed with our hoes in the communities. I'm very close to my community. I don't know about you. I'm a grassroots person. And I know for sure that those people that a lot of work went into research before this thing was put forward. Don't think that we are not a government of change for nothing. We know what we're talking about. We're not talking about Abuja. We're not talking about Lagos. We're talking about Ikpele, my hometown, where the people are there and they are expecting, they are excited, they are happy that, yes, they are remembered. And that in the next 3 months, they have money in their pocket. Like Fashola will always say, Governor Fashola will say, when you have money in your pocket, it's empowerment. Then you have a purchasing power that you can negotiate with. So when you go to the market, you know what we're talking about. Just imagine that. You have to start from somewhere. If you draw the graph, let statisticians draw the graph for you in the next 3 months. I think we have to stop living in denial. We have to accept the way we are, and we have to ensure that we start from somewhere. You see, those people who started cottage industries today are the same people who are advancing in further technologies. And I tell you, while we are doing this, we are also doing so many other things that require the sophistication that you are talking about. It is different grade for different people. It cannot be universal. It cannot be the same. We are different brands. The rich, the poor, everybody make up the population that we call the electorates. And they voted for us, and we have to serve their interest. And that's exactly what we're doing. Okay. If you look at what programs, other empowerment programs in terms of SMEs and in terms of Empower and other things, they are targeted, they are for other targets in the community, in the Nigerian nation. So these are the things we should be looking at. The fact that this was done does not mean that we are demeaning these people. Okay. They are happy. Ordinarily, when we are not involved, when we are not controlling, when we are not monitoring, these are the things they do, even without you being there. They even do worse things. I can show you documentaries if you want.
You started with a lot of advertising quotes. So I also want to ask you, advertiser said, if you can explain it to a 6-year-old, then you don't understand it yourself. My question would be to you is, number one, okay, I hear we're going on a break. We'll go on a break. We'll come back and I'll ask you that question. Right, we still have Tunde Imolehin, Chieftain of the All Progressive Congress here. We're speaking about myriad of issues this morning on the morning show right here on the Rise News channel. All right, let's go straight to you. Like I said before, you've been quoting a lot of Albert Einstein, and let me quote it with you this morning. Albert Einstein said simply that if you can explain to a 6-year-old, you don't get it. Simplicity in explanation is key. I just want you to explain to me how inflation rate rose up to 14% after a border closure and defend it with points. I also want you to explain to me how, food inflation rose up to 18% with all the great policies you claim your party has. I also want you to explain to me how poverty rate got up to 90%, out to 90 million people in poverty with all the great positions. And I also want you to explain to me how an economy that was growing sizable numbers, close to 6% and less than that sometimes, is now in a recession for the second time in the lifetime of your administration. Just explain to me in layman terms, like a 6-year-old can understand it.
I wasn't hearing.
Okay, can you hear me now? Mr. Imolehin?
Yes, I think I can hear you now.
Great. So what I'm saying is, please explain to me how, with all the great policies you say your party has, Nigeria went to a place where we have over 14% core inflation and 18% food inflation after a border closure. I want you to explain to me in lay terms how we got to a point where close to 100 million people are living in so much poverty. I also want you to explain to me how we have had to get into a recession, an economy that was growing about 6% prior to this time, has gotten into a recession twice in the life of this same administration, and we have lost over 100 billion naira in GDP. please, in lay terms.
You didn't, hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Go ahead, sir.
I can go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, number one, thank you for that question. I'm not an economist. I'm not the Minister of Finance. I cannot satisfy you with any answer on that subject. Be that as it may, as a person, not as a party man, I am not excited that we are not doing too well in that area. But you remember that there is a lot of development that are in place that are yet to mature. And I expect that we'll be patient to see how they play out. Government is working, and I'm sure that one of the things that government wants to do is to ensure that 100 million Nigerians are pulled out of poverty in the real sense of it. When we talk about Nigerians, we're not talking about you. We're talking about people who are actually in abject poverty. And I'm sure it's one of the principal cardinal points of the party to ensure that that is done. And every day, the party is working towards that, towards that goal. Government is a continuum and it's full of ups and downs. If you draw a graph can go up based on certain tendencies, certain variables, and what have you. I'm not an economist, like I told you, but I know that, yes, the situation is not very, very palatable, but we're not giving up. We know that, yes, we are working on it. If you look at what CBN is doing in the areas of agriculture, and I keep telling people that, that is exactly why we need change in this country. In the next how many years? I think it's 2052. As a green economist, as a green follower agent, I know that yes, we should be tending towards, every economy should be tending towards the green perspective. Because very soon fossil fuel will be a thing of the past. We need to grow our green economy to make impact globally. Because very soon, even now, and that is basically part of the thing that the government is doing. A lot of changes must happen, but we have to prepare our people for these changes. Nobody wants. Look at COVID. Look at COVID. Look at the response. There's a lot of orientation that needs to be done in this country. You guys are doing well, but we need to do more. And that's what we are doing at the party level. Because without the party, which is the head of a government, without a very sound and a very stable and a very, very strong party, there cannot be continuity, there cannot be sustainability. The people have to trust their party to ensure that democratic dividends, are in place for them. If care is not taken, there will be a time when the people will no longer trust the party to even collect their money. So we want to prevent that and avoid that. That's why we're acting proactively. In the area of economy, the very challenge is just like the security. It's simply because we're working. The more you work, the more openings and the more exposures. And that's exactly what is happening, because we are not unlike other parties in the past who did virtually nothing about the money that were available for them. We are doing a lot of things. The more we scratch, we are scratching a lot. Things that used to happen in the past, church changing of the economy, church changing of the policy, church changing of so many things are blocked, so many leakages are blocked. I read something on Facebook this morning before I got here about how some countries are making a lot of money through fines. I'm told that about 10% of the revenue accruing to UAE is through fines, because there's technology. You deploy technology, you make more money, and that is a very good example. I mean, for Lagos, for smart cities that can come out of Lagos and Abuja can do. These are things that our party and of course other parties should be looking at, so that we can develop a country. If that is not taken for granted, there's the possibility that even Lagos alone can fund the budget of the whole Southwest, even more. We're talking about the fourth largest economy in Africa. So we have to start thinking, and again, instead of this propaganda by the opposition, they should work at solutions. Not enough for you to assess the situation and go and make the whole place a marketplace. Shouting and what have you, it won't help the polity. It won't even help you to win the elections. Come up with solutions that will provide solutions to all the things that you have advanced. That is when people will respect you and start looking at you as a choice. If they didn't look at a choice, in 2019, when we defeated you again, what are you likely to do in 2023 when you are not even bringing anything to the table? So having said that, we have to be sure that we know that we are growing a nation. We are growing a nation. We have to defend the sovereignty of this nation, and we have to be very careful. Whatever we do affects us in our economy, in our socio-political endeavors. And these are the things that we have to be sure. It is country first before anything. I don't want to talk about all the hulabaloo about whether some international organizations have a right to criticize us. But in all we do, as we have seen that no country is holy, like they say. You see, we can see that what is the intention of all these international organizations. For us as APC News Online, we want to work with government. We want to work with the party to see how we can defend, what we have and advance things that we can change in order to be sure that we are not insane.
Tunde Imolehin, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I like the passion with which you defend your party, but I hope you still find time on the side for your original calling, architecture. I hope you still find time. But thank you very much for joining us.